By 2049, China has declared a vision that has jolted the geopolitical landscape, a vision to become a strong, democratic, civilized, harmonious, and modern socialist superpower. But behind the polished rhetoric lies something far more disruptive, a military transformation aimed at elevating China's armed forces into world-class powerhouses. And nowhere is this ambition more evident than at sea. In just over a decade, Beijing has shifted from a coastal defense mindset to a relentless, lightning-fast naval expansion program. The question echoing across naval war rooms from Washington to Tokyo is simple. Is this the beginning of a new arms race at sea? For decades, the U.S. Navy has been the dominant force across the Indo-Pacific, maintaining an unmatched forward presence. Carrier strike groups patrol sea lanes, submarines lurk beneath contested waters, and destroyers form a moving shield of deterrence. But China's meteoric naval rise has disrupted the balance. President Xi Jinping's promise of the Chinese dream isn't just a slogan, it's a strategic roadmap designed to reshape the global maritime order. China's modern navy, the plan, consists of 5 branches: the submarine force, the surface fleet, coastal defense, marines, and naval aviation. With approximately 240,000 personnel, including 15,000 Marines and 26,000 Naval Air Force members, it's now the second largest navy in the world by tonnage, estimated at 2.4 million tons as of 2022. In sheer numbers, China leads globally in major surface combatants with roughly 350 ships and submarines, compared to the U.S. Navy's 293. And that gap is growing. U.S. naval projections anticipate China's fleet reaching 400 ships within 2 years, while U.S. plans aim to reach 350 manned ships only by 2045. Perhaps the most striking symbol of this transformation is China's push to build modern aircraft carriers, once reliant on reefers. Vicious Soviet hulls, China now designs its own. The Shandong, its second carrier, displaces around 50,000 tons and can carry up to 44 aircraft, including Shenyang J-15 fighters, modified for carrier operations. Equipped with modern communications, navigation, and combat systems, it gives China credible regional power projection. But the real game changer is the Type 003 Fujian, an 85,000-ton supercarrier equipped with an electromagnetic aircraft launch system, technology previously fielded only by the U.S. Navy. This system enables heavier payloads, quicker launches, and higher sortie rates. Beijing's goal is to operate 6 carrier strike groups by 2035, a pace unmatched by any nation in modern history. Each of these carrier groups isn't just a ship, it's a floating fortress surrounded by destroyers, frigates, submarines, and supply vessels, able to project combat power hundreds of miles from its shores. And the ambition doesn't stop there. China is rapidly expanding its submarine fleet, deploying advanced diesel-electric and nuclear boats to create a layered deterrence posture. Its surface fleet bristles with modern Type 055 cruisers and Type 052D destroyers, each equipped with vertical launch cells capable of firing long-range anti-ship and anti-air missiles. Alongside, its marine forces train for island seizures, and its naval aviation units gain endurance through relentless drills in the Western Pacific. This transformation is deliberate, calculated, and fast. The Chinese Navy isn't simply growing, it's shifting the balance of naval power in the Indo-Pacific. And while the U.S. Navy retains technological superiority and global reach, China's raw expansion raises one unmistakable question: how long before numerical advantage begins to challenge qualitative edge? Xi's Chinese dream aims to restore what Beijing considers its rightful place as a global maritime power. For its neighbors, and especially for the U.S. Navy, this is more than rhetoric. It's a challenge unfolding ship by ship, carrier by carrier, in real time. The world's oceans are entering a new era of competition, and the stakes couldn't be higher. China's naval ambitions are no longer confined to shipyards and military parades. They are materializing at a staggering pace. The People's Liberation Army Navy, PLAN, has become the second largest navy in the world by tonnage, with a reported 2.4 million tons as of 2022. Its expansion isn't just about numbers, it's about transformation. The plan has 5 major branches: the submarine force, surface force, coastal defense force, marine force, and naval air force. Together, They field around 240,000 personnel, including 15,000 Marines and 26,000 Naval Air Force troops. This manpower underpins a rapidly modernizing fleet that already surpasses the U.S. Navy in sheer ship count. The scale of growth is breathtaking. China's battle force stands at around 350 surface ships and submarines, compared to the U.S. Navy's roughly 293. And this gap is widening. Intelligence reports estimate that the plan will field 400 ships by 2027, while the U.S. fleet will still be hovering just below that number. In other words, China isn't just catching up, it's pulling ahead in quantity. But quantity alone doesn't win wars, capability and doctrine do. That's why Beijing is pouring resources into modernizing not just hulls, but systems, weapons, and training. At the center of this transformation is China's aircraft carrier program. The Showdown, China's second carrier, weighs in at approximately 50,000 tons and can carry up to 44 aircraft, including Shenyang J-15 fighters, early warning planes, and helicopters. Equipped with modern communications, navigation, and combat systems, the Showdown is designed to conduct both air defense and anti-submarine operations. Its air wing gives China its first credible ability to project power beyond its immediate coastline, a major strategic shift. But Showdown is only the beginning. The Type 003. Fujian represents China's leap into the world of true blue-water naval power. Expected to displace around 85,000 tons, Fujian will be equipped with an electromagnetic aircraft launch system, EMLs, technology that until recently only the U.S. possessed. EMLs allows for faster, more efficient launches, expanding the operational range and flexibility of carrier-based aircraft. Once operational, Fujian will be capable of supporting a modern carrier air wing at ranges previously out of reach for Chinese forces. China's ambitions don't stop with one or two carriers. The plan has set a goal of operating 6 carrier strike groups by 2035, a staggering pace that would give Beijing unprecedented reach. Each carrier strike group would be built around the carrier as the centerpiece, surrounded by destroyers, frigates, submarines, and supply vessels, a floating fortress projecting power hundreds of miles from shore. For the first time in modern history, another navy is building the structural backbone required to rival the U.S. Navy's global presence. Meanwhile, the planned submarine force is expanding both quantitatively and qualitatively. Modern diesel-electric boats are joining the fleet alongside nuclear-powered submarines, providing Beijing with layered undersea capabilities that were unthinkable a generation ago. This growing undersea fleet is designed not just for defense, but for denial, to make key maritime choke points contested zones where U.S. forces cannot operate freely. This surge in shipbuilding has been powered by an industrial base that's firing on all cylinders. Chinese shipyards are churning out warships at a pace unmatched by any other nation. Some estimates suggest China is launching the equivalent of the entire British Royal Navy every 4 years. Such industrial momentum is strategically significant. While the U.S. Navy struggles with extended build times and maintenance backlogs, China's Navy is expanding like clockwork. Strategically, this expansion is aimed at transforming China from a regional power to a global maritime force. With aircraft carriers, advanced destroyers, modern submarines, and sophisticated naval aviation, China is positioning itself to challenge U.S. naval dominance in critical regions like the South China Sea, the East China Sea, and eventually the Pacific Ocean itself. Beijing's message is clear. The days of uncontested American maritime supremacy are coming to an end, and they're building the fleet to prove it. Beyond the impressive ship counts and massive carriers, the true weight of China's naval strategy becomes clear when you examine where and how these forces are being positioned. The Chinese government's Chinese Dream Initiative, announced by President Xi Jinping, outlines a vision of national rejuvenation, and naval power is at the heart of it. Xi has repeatedly emphasized the importance of building a strong, democratic, civilized, harmonious, and modern socialist country by 2049, the centenary of the People's Republic. This dream isn't just political rhetoric, it's a strategic timeline, and the plan is one of its sharpest instruments. Central to this strategy is control of surrounding waters, particularly the South China Sea. Over the past decade, China has transformed the region into a heavily militarized zone. Artificial islands have been constructed on reefs and atolls, complete with airstrips, radar installations, and missile batteries. Planned warships regularly patrol these waters, asserting Beijing's sweeping territorial claims. Claims that overlap with those of multiple neighboring nations and contradict international rulings. Through constant presence and patrols, China is slowly but deliberately reshaping the operational environment in its favor. Then there's Taiwan, a flashpoint with global consequences. China considers the self-goes, Verning Island, a breakaway province that must, eventually, come under Beijing's control. President Xi has openly declared that reunification with Taiwan must be fulfilled, and critically, he has not ruled out the use of force to achieve it. According to U.S. intelligence assessments, Xi has instructed the People's Liberation Army to be prepared to take the island by 2027. For the plan, that means building the capability to control the waters around Taiwan, deter U.S. intervention, and if necessary, fight and win a maritime campaign in one of the most contested regions on Earth. This strategic posture is backed by a more assertive operational tempo. Chinese naval task forces now deploy far beyond their traditional nearshore areas. Fleets have been spotted operating in the Indian Ocean, training in the Western Pacific, and conducting joint drills with partners in the Middle East and Africa. These deployments serve a dual purpose: to give Chinese commanders operational experience in distant waters, and to send a clear signal that the plan is no longer confined to its backyard. Internally, China's naval modernization is matched by tight political control. Under the banner of national unity and social stability, Beijing has cracked down on dissent domestically, from detentions in Xinjiang to the suppression of democratic movements in Hong Kong. These actions are deeply controversial internationally, but they reveal a critical element of the Chinese dream. Control at home enables power projection abroad. The plan's rise is inseparable from the centralized authority of the Communist Party. For the U.S. and its allies, this expanding reach presents both a tactical and strategic challenge. Chinese forces are not just growing, they are entrenching themselves in strategically critical choke points. If left unchecked, this naval buildup could give Beijing the ability to control major sea lanes, pressure neighbors into compliance, and potentially block or delay U.S. reinforcements during a regional conflict. The South China Sea, the East China Sea, and the waters around Taiwan would become heavily contested battle spaces, zones where every radar ping and sonar contact could trigger a crisis. What makes this shift even more consequential is the timeline. China's leadership isn't waiting for 2049 to act. The operational milestones, 2027 for Taiwan readiness, 2035 for 6 carrier strike groups, show a phased approach to maritime dominance. By the mid-2030s, Beijing aims to have not just a world-class fleet on paper, but a force capable of sustained operations far from home waters. For the first time since the end of the Cold War, the U.S. Navy faces a competitor actively preparing to contest its supremacy in multiple theaters simultaneously. As China accelerates its naval buildup, the world's attention inevitably turns to the United States Navy, the benchmark against which all others are measured. The U.S. Navy isn't just another maritime force. It's a global power projector, backed by a network of alliances, unmatched technology, and over a century of operational dominance. So the key question becomes, does China's rise actually threaten this supremacy? On paper, China may soon boast more ships than the U.S. Navy, but naval warfare isn't a game of numbers. It's a contest of capabilities, reach, and integration. The U.S. Navy operates 11 nuclear-powered aircraft carriers, fleets of advanced destroyers, and submarines that are among the quietest and deadliest ever built. Its ships are equipped with laser weapons, advanced electronic warfare systems, and the ability to control swarms of unmanned platforms. Most importantly, the U.S. Navy has something China is still chasing: generational experience. Its sailors, aviators, and commanders have operated globally in war and peace for decades. Chinese carriers, though growing in number, remain highly vulnerable. U.S. F-35B and F-35C squadrons can launch from CI, Warriors and amphibious assault ships, striking targets hundreds of miles away. Combined with land-based F-22s and F-35As stationed in Guam and Japan, this gives the U.S. unparalleled maritime air dominance. Meanwhile, Virginia-class attack submarines lurk beneath the surface, nearly undetectable, armed with torpedoes and Tomahawk cruise missiles capable of striking ships from 900 miles away. For any planned carrier group, this is a nightmare scenario. U.S. Navy leadership has made its stance clear. "We will sail wherever international law allows," declared Admiral Samuel Papero, commander of the Pacific Fleet. That's not just rhetoric, it's policy. With allies like Japan, Australia, and others investing in advanced F-35 fleets and interoperable systems, the U.S. Navy's power is multiplied across the Pacific. China may be building fast, but America's maritime architecture is already in place and battle-tested. So while Beijing's ambitions are real and its progress undeniable, the balance of power at sea remains firmly in U.S. hands, for now. The contest ahead won't be decided by a single battle or statistic, but by strategy, alliances, and the ability to adapt. And on that front, the U.S. Navy has decades of proof that it knows exactly how to hold the line.